Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It's been 2 weeks, and I'd say it feels like an eternity, but that sounds almost vampire-ish, I guess. I don't know. Um, my name is Josh Wallace. I am part of Angel Citadel, and I am your storyteller here for Vice City Gateway to Sin. We are playing Vampire the Requiem 2nd Edition. I've got an amazing cast. They have absolutely exceeded my expectations for getting into shenanigans. I kind of figured they'd wait for me, and they just plunged right in head first, and so it's amazing. Let's go around the room. Let's reintroduce them for those of you that haven't seen us or have forgotten who we are. I'm kind of forgettable anyway, but they aren't. So let's start with them. Kara, why don't you go ahead and get started?
Sure. I'm Caro. I'm Cedomari _ on Twitter and also in the Twitch chat and our Discord. I will be playing Charlotte Delacour, a huge bitch and #1 on Tart's PR list.
I love it. Rusty.
Hi, I'm Rusty. You can find me in the Angel Citadel Discord, Rusty the Robot _ between each word, and I'm also Rusty T Robot in our Twitch chat, and I'm playing Victor, the disgraced former animator who has unknowingly now been blood bonded.
Yes, he has. Impulsive decisions. They're a bitch. That does bring up something, though. We do have a link in the chat for our link tree where you can find access to our Discord. Feel free to join us. We'd love to have you chat there and hang out with us there. Joanne.
Hi, I'm Joanne Wallace, the other half of Angel Citadel. You can find me places as Angel Citadel Joanne or Zero's Angel, obviously. I am playing Kimberly McKnight, a diva with a taste for rock and roll.
We got to get out your electric guitar and have that as a prop here one of these times. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Yeah, I know where it is. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe on concert night. Last but not least, Jeff.
Hi, I am Jeff. I am Jeffrey Boring on Discord, and I'm playing Sage Thorn, who is a mechette, sort of lost boy, trying to find his way in the big scary world.
And that was my fault. This is the amazing Jeff Faden, not just Jeff.
No, just Jeff. Fine.
No, you're definitely amazing, buddy.
Jeff.
All right.
On this one.
So recapping from last session. Carol, let's start with you. What do you remember?
We were investigating on site at the university. I had been ripped from my date with my beautiful not girlfriend Friday by a phone call from Kimberly. Begrudgingly, I went ahead with it, in which case I learned that not only did we not have a plan, Mr. Victor was losing his mind on some caffeine, and I could have probably spent another 20 minutes with Friday.
And tell us about that losing your mind with caffeine, Victor.
Ooh. Well, how many shots did he have? Was it 6 shots?
6
of espresso. Yeah.
Nanny.
Yeah. So he was seeing sounds, tasting colors, and all that, and then got out of that by drinking from Sage.
And Sage offered.
Yeah.
That was an interesting scene. You want to talk about that scene a little bit, Sage?
Oh, sure. he just seemed like he was really having a hard time, and I thought maybe a little blood would help. It usually helps me, and so I just thought I'd offer.
Well, and since you'd so recently fed, I mean, it was only fair to share around.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, the shenanigans. This is going to be amazing. Kimberly,
Victor's going to be facing his Quincy's pretty soon.
we'll see what happens. Kimberly, what do you remember?
I went to the sheriff and got information as to what rooms the two missing kids were in. Went to the first girl's room and stole some stuff. I got some information, including an interesting receipt and some hair off her hairbrush. Went and gave Charlotte a call because Charlotte knows the computer business and is able to check her social media. I had a plan, and before I could actually explain my plan, it was interrupted. So, yeah. And then I went to visit a mage friend to have him start running a trace on the hair. While I was gone to forward the quest for the missing people, Victor and Sage decided to up their level of shenanigery. But Kimberly doesn't know about it yet. Of course, the minute she does,
He's not going to let Victor live it down.
nope, not even a little bit. Because she can. You have an eternity with Kimberly. It's going to be fantastic.
All right. So let's start with Sage and Victor and Charlotte, who were all headed to the student union looking for rumors. That's a really ambiguous statement. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys exactly are doing and looking for.
Sage is interested in finding out just any information they can about the individuals we're looking for. I cannot for the life of me remember their names. But I'm sure Sage does. So, yeah,
You are looking for Rayna Gutierrez and Paul Deane.
Okay. So, yeah, we want to. Sage wants to find information about them, and they seemed to have been involved in something that seemed vaguely cult-like. Is that true, or am I misremembering?
You're not necessarily misremembering. You could put that as a cult if you wanted. Yeah. I mean
think we
that kind of adds up.
Stuff of Rayna. We didn't find a lot about Paul yet.
Yeah, no one's
Yeah.
been to his dorm room. No one's done anything really with him. We just got Rayna's stuff.
So yeah, figuring out where his room was and finding someone that can give us access to it easily.
Okay. How do you want to go about doing that?
Just sort of mixing and mingling. Like, that's kind of, I think that's fully Sage's MO, is just to sort of network with people and solicit rumors from them.
Okay, Victor, Charlotte, what are you guys doing?
Charlotte wants to try to find out if Paul had a roommate. Like if he lived in the dorms.
Okay. Trying to remember, did you mention that they had both lived in the dorms, Kimberly, or no?
No.
Okay. How are you going to go about doing that?
Hey, look, in my defense, my conversation with Charlotte was interrupted by Stoner.
It happens. I think she's following Sage for now to the student union. I wonder if there would be something there that's like a candlelight vigil or like any kind of memorial that she might get information from.
Okay. What about you, Victor?
Well, Victor doesn't really want to mingle around with the students, being
Creepy old man.
not a student and being, the oldest one out of the three. So he's probably going to go and see if he can find any of the professors at all, see if maybe they know what's going on, what's with these students and all that.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that Sage and Charlotte are going to go mingle with the students. Charlotte is looking for a roommate for Paul.
Mhm.
Sage is looking for Paul himself. And Victor is going to go on. No?
Oh.
No. Sage is, I mean, everything Charlotte just said is essentially what Sage is going after. I mean, Sage is looking for information, not person. So Sage is going after information about him. So his roommate is, where he lives, uh, who his friends are, who he was associating with, things like that. I mean,
Okay.
rumors, not looking for him directly.
Okay. And Rusty, Victor is going to see if he can talk to professors or something.
Yeah, just anybody of a higher authority that might have any, inkling of information.
Okay. So you are at the student union on the University of Miami campus at about 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30 at night. Now, with that being said, the student union is open. It is open not 24 hours, but they're open late most nights. There are several. I will hesitate to use the word restaurants. You can get pizza, you can get hamburgers, you can get hot dogs, things that are high in carbs that would be useful if you were to say imbibe over much to get rid of a hangover. So they're fairly plentiful, they're fairly cheap. And so you see a certain kind of crowd putting away ridiculous amounts of carbs. There are probably 30 or 40 people in the student union that are collegiate age right now. University of Miami has a student population of somewhere in the 50,000 range. So you're looking at a fairly small portion of the population. While you do, Victor, see several adultier adults. Sorry, I had to say it. There's a couple of security guards, right? There's not the people working the counters, but the restaurants that are open have, you know, a manager that's older. There is one, two, maybe three other adults kind of just in the area. One of them's eating food, although not to the extent that the others are, which he probably wouldn't want to appear drunk anyway. So, and that's the main area of the student union. You happen to know that there are other less accessible areas, and this is just from how things were when you were at college, right? So you've got a financial assistance set of offices. You've got a the campus security has offices there. There is translation services and registration. Those offices are typically at the student union. They're you know, down side hallways and things like that. So not so much in the open area of the actual building itself, which is fairly large. So I guess let's start with Charlotte and Sage. You guys go and you're just mingling among the students that are chowing down, or what? How do you want to do this?
I have two things that I want to try.
Okay.
Are there any? Charlotte wouldn't know how to describe them other than spooky looking folks. Are there anyone that seems like they might be more into like witchcraft and Wiccan stuff? You know, creepy shit.
Okay.
College.
Let's go ahead and do this with a roll. Why don't you go ahead and roll me wits plus composure, a perception roll. There is nobody like that here.
Great.
Okay, so that was track one. What was track two?
Track two, I think she wants to go into like a bathroom or like a private area and like kind of mess up her hair and like pull down on her eyes so her mascara runs a little bit. And then head towards one of the security guards.
So you're trying to be a lure.
Yes.
All right. You can do that easily enough with it not being very busy. Finding yourself a stall where you could do something like that isn't really hard. So you come back out and you've got somewhat disheveled hair and running mascara, and you get head to the security guard.
I want to find a security guard that looks like a young-ish man. Maybe like slightly older than college age.
Okay. You find one. He is standing off to the side of one of the main doors at the edge of kind of a cubby. There's one of those round couches that's bent backwards around something of a planter box. And in the planter box is a fairly large tree. That entire cubby is glass wall, so the plant gets light. And you see He's standing there, and there's actually a young woman that's sitting on that couch. She looks like she's reading, but periodically you see her glance up and look at the guy, and then kind of blush and look back down.
Okay. Charlotte steps up to him and doesn't say anything at first. She just kind of stands there and she's like a little bit shaking. Um, um, uh, excuse me.
Ma'am, are you all right?
I
The
excuse-
Texan is thick with this one.
Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. It's, I think I'm okay. It's stupid. I've had a little bit, I've had a little bit to drink, and with the girl that went missing and the guy that went missing, I was just kind of looking for somewhere to hide out. There's a guy he was like hitting on me and now he's following me, and I just need somewhere to hide out for a second.
He looks up and he kind of looks around, and his brow furrows, like really deep furrow. Girl and guy missing. What are you talking about?
It wasn't here, it was on the other side of Miami, but I don't know, it's a scary place to be a young girl by herself.
Oh, well, I hadn't heard nothing about that. I typically I don't make the news. I'm here at the union during that time, but you said someone's chasing you now. What does this someone look like?
He's a bigger guy with a white streak in his hair and kind of a flannel jacket.
You're killing me. All right. Quick question.
Yeah.
Victor,
Yeah.
are you making any attempt to be subtle or hide or anything like that? I think I know the answer to this, but
Yeah, no, he's not. He's trying to be as inconspicuous as possible right now.
okay.
He's not
Let me
really
guess. Not
chasing.
the answer you were expecting, was it?
Not quite, but it'll do.
I'll say he's not really chasing me. We met at a bar. He was kind of flirting. I left. He left a couple minutes later. I'm being paranoid, but sometimes being paranoid tracks. Listen, can I just sit with her for a second and you keep an eye out?
Well, sure, I can do that, man. You said white hair and flannel, and he
Flannel
looks
jacket.
over and he looks directly at Victor. And what color is this flannel jacket, ma'am?
I don't remember. It was dark.
Okay. Why don't you have a seat here? And I'll keep a lookout here for the next little while or so, and then maybe we can't get somebody to escort you home.
Thank you. She slides into the booth on the opposite side of this other girl, and like crosses her legs and kind of fidgets a little, and then goes, "Did you hear about the missing people?"
She looks up, and as she does, you see she's reading one of those Harlequin type romance. Fabio shirtless on the cover, but it's tucked into another book
In public?
in public.
Good for her. What an
And
icon.
And she looks up and she's almost startled that you talked to her. Missing? No, no. Someone's missing? Who's missing?
I got I don't know for a fact that they're missing, but I haven't seen Rowena Gutierrez in like 3 days.
Elena Gutierrez.
Rowena? What's her name?
Elena.
Elena, excuse me.
Elena. Elena.
Elena Gutierrez? Do you know her?
Hmm. She's not a freshman, is she?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't know her.
Deane, maybe?
Paul Deane.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And also, can I borrow that novel when you're done?
Charlotte!
Oh, cripe. Oh, cripe. That's 2 10 agains and a pair of 9s. That's 6 successes. Holy cow. Amazingly enough, yeah, I know Paul. He's the TA from my creative writing class. He's kind of cute, isn't he?
It's a little bit why I noticed. I mean, nobody's talking about it, but I haven't seen either of them in forever, and she's not his type.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen him since last creative writing, but I only see him once a week anyway. So, and that's not until next Tuesday. So, boy, I hope nothing's happened to him.
Me neither. What do you know about him besides that he's cute and TA's creative writing?
Well, I mean, he's an English major, and he really has a way with words. And she blushes like beet red, and glances down at her book, and then kind of blushes again.
Is that from the Beachcomber series?
She looks down at it and then looks up at you in surprise. How'd you? Yeah.
Wow, you have good taste.
Thank you. And she holds out her hand. It's tiny. Like if she's 5'6" and 130 pounds wet, you'd be surprised. But she holds out her hand. Says, "I'm Andrea.
I'm Charlie.
It's good to meet you, Charlie. Are you a student here too?
Yeah."
What are you studying?
She cocks her head just a little bit. Sociology.
Isn't that a lot of math?
No.
Oh.
It's people reading.
Oh.
I mean, there's statistics that are involved, but it's a lot of understanding folks and how they interact with each other.
Well, that sounds a lot better than they made it sound when I was looking into degrees. I'm studying to be an English major too. It's.
Have you ever seen?
I always liked reading.
Yeah, seems like you're double fisting there. She winks at her.
Maybe.
She holds out. She looks for like a sheet of notebook paper, something maybe that Andrea's writing, and doodles out the symbol that we found. I think Sage showed it to Charlotte, and pushes it towards her and says, "Have you ever seen this symbol before?"
Remind me what symbol that is.
It is the symbol that Elena had on like all of her social medias and stuff from the like.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Isn't that boy? It's been a year, maybe 2, but I read a book once that Vikings, something about Thor and Odin and the World Tree. It had a weird name. It started with like a Y. Who starts things with a Y?
I'm saying they should ask us next time.
I
Me
don't
and
know if
you,
I can
huh?
pronounce it, but yeah, I've isn't that symbol? Isn't that the world tree?
I think so. Um, I mean, I did have one more question, but it's kind of personal.
She kind of looks around and yeah.
It's silly. The last time I saw Paul, he was walking with this guy, and they made it back towards the dorms. I think it was his roommate, but I don't know his name. Do you know Paul's roommate's name?
I don't. I know he has one, but I don't make it over to King Hall very much.
Mm, that makes sense. It's far out of the way. Hey, when he does come back, I think you should talk to him.
You think?
I know.
She kind of combs through her hair, right, and straightens it out just a little bit, and she gets a small smile on her face. I might just do that. Thank you.
Sure. She squeezes the girl's tiny, tiny hand and stands up and says, I just saw the guy leave. I'm gonna go.
All right. You have a good evening now.
You too. Andrea. I like that name.
Thank you.
She steps out and kind of nods to the security guard that she's got it handled.
He kind of inclines his head. You be safe out there, man.
You too, Buster.
Kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at you. Buster? Really?
Is that not what they say in Texas?
Y'all be safe now, all right?
You hear? And she walks off.
She has no idea what the fuck she's saying, does she?
She holidays in Maine. Let's not be ridiculous. I wouldn't step foot in Texas.
That's fantastic. All right. So, Sage, you are muted.
Yes. Sage wanders through the crowd and is just kind of like passing through. I think they are using the face in a crowd ability. This one from obfuscate, so that people aren't really paying attention to them, so they can just kind of wander through the crowd. And they are listening for any kind of conversation that might be something that they could step into.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for the face in the crowd because most of them are borderline inebriated and are having their own conversations. So
I don't think it has a role. I just people don't pay attention to me in general until I do something.
what
If
I
I'm
will
being
do,
violent, then they notice.
what I will do is I will have you roll wits plus investigation as you're sifting through the conversations for anything interesting.
Okay. What is this? What am I looking for? Oh, this. I am going to spend a vitae
Okay.
to increase my dice. Is that 2 dice? Do you recall how much
I
vitality will improve your?
believe it's 2.
Okay. One success.
Okay.
Not very exciting.
You wander somewhat aimlessly through the multiple tables,
Mhm.
and while you don't hear anything about Elena or Paul, you do catch something that twigs the hairs on the back of your neck. They're talking about renting a room at the student union, or reserving a room at the student union, for a late night video party when Halloween comes around, to do like an all night horror night kind of a thing, where they just
Mhm.
watch B-rated horror films and get drunk and order pizza or whatever.
Sure.
Something about that just it caught your attention for a moment.
Okay. I will sit down at, near them, and I will just interject myself into the conversation. Oh, I love horror films. Is this part of an official club?
No, we all just live in the same dorm, and hey, who are you? Where'd you come from?
Oh, I'm Sage. Oh, I'm around.
Sage. Isn't that like a spice? Are you spicy? And he chuckles at his own joke. The rest of them kind of laugh as well. They are. You managed to pick one of the few tables where the people at it, who are now eating food, apparently made a serious effort to get shit faced.
Hmm. Um, Actually, it's an herb, but it's really used commonly around the world to cleanse a space of spiritual or uh, negative vibes.
They kind of look at
What kind
you
of
like
movies are you going to be watching?
confused. Oh, just horror films. I mean, what else do you do on Halloween, right? You're not going to watch a comedy or an action movie.
Oh, there are like really great parties that are happening. I mean, you don't have to go to parties, but it is college. Um, I was looking for someone, and I was hoping to run into him here. I heard that he hangs out here sometimes. Do you know Paul Deane?
The four of them look at each other and kind of confusion, and they all start shaking their heads. Nah, man, we don't know Paul Deane. But, there's a few people here,
Oh yeah, there are a lot of people here. So why are you guys so drunk tonight? Are you celebrating? Or did you think this was a secret?
No. It was Billy's birthday. And one of them nudges
Oh.
the other one.
I look to Billy and I say, "We should definitely do something no one expects for your birthday." And I'm gonna use mesmerized.
Okay. And what are we mesmerizing them to do?
Just like something wild and crazy, something that nobody expects. Like I said, that's the only instruction that I'm issuing. Do something nobody expects. Um, and that's pretty much all can. And then I make a roll against him to see if I.
Okay, what does he resist with?
I think it is. In the standard resistance trait is what resolve.
Okay. So it doesn't have anything specific.
No, it isn't. It doesn't say anything about
Okay.
resistance. Expression.
Wow, even drunk, he's got a success. How about that?
So I will roll. Oh man. I sort of pout a little bit when that doesn't work.
Okay.
When I feel my connection fail. And I said, "Well, it's been such a blast to meet all of you. I hope you do great things. Billy, happy birthday."
Billy kind of chuckles and it's almost nervous. He's not quite recluse geeky, but
Hmm.
he certainly looks like he heads in that direction. And he looks at you and he says, "Sure, man, whatever."
Yeah, I get up and I wander off to find Charlotte.
Okay, Victor.
Sorry, Victor.
I need you to make a wits plus composure,
All right.
a perception roll.
Not the private role. You don't want to play?
Okay.
I hate private rolls because I don't even know what I rolled.
All right.
Ooh.
You are looking around for somebody older. You see a couple of security guards that don't appear to be college age. You see an older woman sitting at one of the tables. She's got a stack of blue books next to her, and what looks like a set of 3 or 4 red pens, and an open tub of Chinese. She looks like she's grading papers. She's probably 45, 50 years old. Those half moon, I think they're called unifocals, because you don't have both long and or long distance and short distance, that are kind of perched on her nose, so she can look down and read the paper and still see out with her regular eyesight. And that's pretty much it for the age class you were talking about.
Well, it's better than nothing. So I think, first off, Victor's going to go and head towards those security guards. See if, if they've heard about anybody going missing at all.
Okay. So there are 3 security guards. One of them is much younger than the other 2. Still not college age, but younger. He's standing over by a glass protrusion from the building. It's got a kind of a round couch there with a planter that it's surrounding. The other 2 guards, one of them's kind of walking around a circuit that takes him around most of the tables. And the other one is hanging out kind of between where the storefronts are for the restaurants that are open, so that if there was, say, an altercation or something like that, he could get to any one of the 3 that are open within the space of a round. So which one are you going to?
I think he's going to go towards the younger one, the one that's standing by the glass protrusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're leaning into this, are we?
Yeah. No, we're leaning into it.
All right. So he looks at you as you're coming closer, and he stands up straighter. You can see his hands move to the front quarters of his belt, and his fingers loop behind the pants, right? But his hands are close enough to a nightstick and what looks to be a taser that he could probably draw those here in less than a second. He is very obviously sizing you up.
Look, I ain't here to make any trouble. I just got a few questions for you.
Well, seems to be the knife for it, because I got questions for you too.
Well, let's start with your questions first, because I might be able to answer them better.
So there's some people here on campus that have suggested that an individual that looks remarkably like y'all has been following them around. Now, we try and keep a safe campus here, mister. Are you a student here? Can I see some ID?
Well, to be honest here, I am not a student. I mainly came because I am researching something.
His eyebrow goes up. Really?
Yeah. I'm working on a sort of, and right now Victor's just talking out of his fucking ass right now. I'm working on some sort of true crime animated documentary of some sorts right now.
A true crime animated documentary.
Yeah. And he kind of pulls out his business card, hands it to the guy, and kind of taps the business card with his finger. See, right there.
He takes the business card and looks at it for a second. What, like Mickey Mouse PI?
I guess you could call it something like that, but it's more. I'm branching out into more adult animation, trying to go for a more serious tone here.
Adult animation.
Yeah, nothing, triple X or anything like that.
Right. Looking for maybe some models for your animation? Is that
Oh
is that
no,
what we're
no,
into
no,
here?
no. No, I actually heard rumors about some students going missing, across the way, and I was wondering if, as an officer such as yourself, how you normally go about finding kids like that, finding kids who end up, going missing. What do you do to find them?
Well, first off, ain't nobody been missing from the campus in years.
Well, no, I wasn't saying this campus. But this is also the closest place I could find, again, officers such as yourself.
All right. Let's try I'm going to regret this. A manipulation plus persuasion.
Okay. How does 5 successes sound?
That sounds like an exceptional success to me.
You chose 2 of my best stats there, Josh.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I was going to regret this.
Yeah.
Get it, Ink?
Okay. Well, first thing we'd do is we'd check their dorm rooms. See if they left any kind of a note or any indication as to where they might have gone. Somebody was looking for them, or whatever. And then we'd probably take that evidence and bring it to the attention of the state police, who may or may not bring in the FBI, depending on how long it's been. Because the feds, they gotta get involved if something goes across state lines. So if you don't get it quick enough, there's not net that surrounds it, and you have to widen the search, and it gets messy. So mostly we're just here at that point supporting the local police, the state police, and the feds.
All right. Well, that actually answers the questions that I needed from you. And he sees that Victor's was finishing writing things down in a notebook. He closes it, shoves it back into his jacket pocket. Thank you for your service, and I shall be making my departure from here.
Y'all be safe now here.
Oh, don't worry, I will. And you be safe now too, partner.
Suppose that's better than Buster. He mutters that under his breath. You hear it, but you're not quite sure what he means.
And Victor's just chuckling to himself as he's heading out to go and meet with the others.
Okay. We're going to cut to Kimberly.
Okay.
What is Kimberly doing while all this is happening?
Kimberly is going to be studying the paper that she got and start strolling her way at a decent pace back to the campus.
Okay. The paper that you have is a what looks to be almost a receipt, not a purchase receipt, but a reservation receipt. It's on campus letterhead, and it appears that Elena had booked a room at the student union every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Excuse me, every other Thursday.
Okay.
They the last meeting that they would have had there would have been, if you're figuring the dates right, last Thursday.
Okay. Thinking. Yeah, she's gonna meander back towards the campus. Head towards the commons that hosts the room.
Okay. There is something of a open second floor that looks out over that large table filled area with the restaurants and stuff like that. That has rooms all along it. They're all numbered.
Okay. I'm gonna find the room, take note of where it's at, and then find the security office.
Okay. It looks just like a small room, with as many doors around as you see. You can't imagine that it would accommodate more than 8, maybe 10 people if they're friendly.
Okay.
You head back downstairs and follow the signs to the security offices.
Okay. I'm gonna check, see if the chief of security is in there.
He is not. However, there's another guy sitting at a desk in there. He appears to be watching several monitors that are cycling through CCTV cameras.
Okay.
Probably 45, maybe 50 years old. portly kind of a guy, not seriously overweight, but he's got some extra weight there. He's in a campus uniform, shirt and tie. Hair on the top of his head's thinning, but he's got very close cropped beard, mustache.
Since I've worked the security gig before since I've worked for the school a couple of times as a musician running my gigs, have I encountered this gentleman before?
Not this particular one, no.
Okay. Take a deep breath, flush with life, activate awe, all eyes on me, and I'm going to stroll into the room. Ah, perfect. Just the person I was looking for.
He startled, he pushes back from the chair, and his hand drops to his belt as if he's reaching for the taser there. But as he sees you, he stops and he kind of cocks his head to the side. Who, me?
You are security, are you not?
Well, yeah, but
I need
do,
a
do I know
favor.
you?
Well, if you don't, I'm sure your son or daughter might. I'm Kimberly McKnight, lead singer of Dusk Crush.
Dusk Crush. And his eyes widen and he looks up at her like it hit him with like a ton of bricks. My daughter loves you guys.
I'm glad to hear that. I would have been a bit embarrassed if it hadn't been true.
What are you doing here? I mean, you guys don't have a gig tonight, right?
No, that's tomorrow night. I'm here because I need a favor. You know how it is. I do a favor. You do a favor for me. I'll do a favor for you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
His eyes narrow just a little bit. Kind of a favor.
I'm looking for a couple of friends of mine, Elena and Paul Deane. They were supposed to meet me at a room and they never showed up. And normally we reserve it every other Thursday, but she's going to hold out the reservation. We were going to meet earlier, but they invited me and I'm going to look him in the eye. And since I walked in with awe, I'm going to hit him with confidant.
Does he get to resist that?
Yes, it's his resistance versus my presence plus empathy plus majesty.
Go ahead and roll it.
Physical dice or
I don't care. He looks at you for a long time, and you can see he's struggling with this.
I'm willing to throw in a ticket and a signed autograph for your daughter. I just want to look at the cameras, just between us.
Just that room.
Just that room for this time slot, just between us, and signed autograph and a ticket for both you and your daughter to come to my gig tomorrow night. VIP section. What do you say? Well, as close to VIP as I can get. You know how it is.
He kind of glances up to the fairly large window that looks outside so that he can see, who someone's coming. If he's not too wrapped up in looking at the monitors, and not seeing anybody, he switches one of the monitors with a couple of keystrokes to show just one camera. And you see in fast, kind of fast forward, you see an empty room, an empty room, an empty room. A group of teachers come in. There's about 6 of them. They have a meeting for what looks to be about an hour. They leave. It's empty. It's empty. It's empty. And then a woman and a man, they both look like they could be students, walk into the room. They appear to be toting a bag, and one of them's carrying a book under the boy's carrying a book under his arm. From the bag, after they close the door, the girl pulls 5 candles and sets them up on the table and lights them. The girl and the boy sit opposite each other across the table, and they both appear to be speaking. These are CCTV cameras, and so there's no sound. But then they both open the book, and in the book you see it's not the greatest picture. You see some weird looking writing and a couple of really ugly looking pictures. And they appear to be talking back and forth about what the contents are, or what they're looking at for 5 or 10 minutes. And then the door opens again. And this is where it gets weird. You see the most cohesive blur that you've ever seen. It doesn't come very far inside the room. And the two of them look at it, and they appear to be talking with it. And then they blow the candles out, put them back in the bag, get up, and follow. Door closes, light goes out, and the room's empty again for another 45 minutes. At which point the door opens, the light turns on, and you see someone look inside. and then walk in looking around. He is older. He's probably 40 years old. He looks extremely unkempt. And it almost looks like he's looking for something or someone. And then he doesn't seem to find it. And so he leaves. And then that's it for the day.
Interesting. That does not look like a student.
No. In fact, if these cameras were better, I'd probably be able to tell you for sure, but it almost looks like Tom.
Oh,
Yeah, he's one of the local homeless. He hangs around campus sometimes, panhandling for change and stuff. But he's harmless. He's just down on his luck is all.
interesting. It only takes one bad day. Thank you. And she's gonna reach into her jacket pocket and pull out a pair of tickets and flips a pad over, pulls out a picture of herself because she carries them because the prince insisted from when she was still human, signs it with a flourish, and hands the 3 items to him. Thank you for your assistance. I look forward to seeing you at the concert tomorrow night.
Well, we'll be there. Thank you.
Of course, I always keep my promises.
And he tucks it away very carefully inside his coat pocket.
Now, would Kimberly realize that the blur is another vamp? Because I'm pretty sure she was told by the prince to avoid pictures for that very reason.
Yeah, she would probably know. Victor would probably know. Charlotte would probably know. Sage actually probably wouldn't know.
Yeah, she's. Oh, one last question before I go. Where does Tom typically hang out?
That's a good question. You can typically find him all over campus, but I ain't seen him today. This evening. As far as I know, he sleeps somewhere over underneath the bridge on the south side there, the one that goes between the science building and the the math and physics building.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
Sorry, the natural sciences building.
She's gonna head out and send a text to Charlotte and Vincent and say, I got some more information. Shall we meet up before
Victor, right?
Yes, Victor. Vincent, Victor. You both start with V.
Yeah, I know. I've got 2 characters whose names are very similar and start with V's.
Evil. Charlotte texts back, me too. Meet me at King's Hall or in front of King's Hall.
Alrighty then.
Victor,
And then
you might want to change your jacket.
he texts back, yeah, I kind of figured. The fuck did you say?
She sends back the shrugging emoji.
So he just does it very simply. He just turns his jacket inside out, so it's black on the outside, plaid on the
Is it a
inside.
reversible jacket? I'm gonna
It
throw
is a
up.
it is a
Ew.
reversible jacket. It is a reversible jacket.
Gross.
Dude, I love those
It-
things. Those are
It's
amazing.
plaid on, but the thing is, it's plaid on
Gosh,
both
buddy.
sides. Red plaid on one side, black plaid on the other.
Alright.
No, I said it was plaid.
You're just gonna have to lose the jacket. Sorry.
You're gonna have to ditch the jacket, Victor.
Is
Now you're
King-
hanging out outside of a freshman dorm. Don't do that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, Charlotte. I think we talked to the same fucking officer.
This is too much to text.
That's
TTY.
amazing.
Alright.
And Vicky just starts heading that way too.
Is the bridge that I need to visit that he supposedly sleeps under between me and King's Hall, or would it be a detour?
No, it's going to be a detour. Most of the housing buildings are on one particular corner of campus. There may be a quarter of a mile between them and the student union, so that it's convenient for them to do banking and get food and stuff like that, right? The actual classroom buildings, the educational buildings with the labs and everything like that, encompass the rest of campus, and they're all on the opposite direction.
Okay. I'm just going to use celerity to sprint over there. Actually, no, I'm going to use celerity to sprint over there to check around briefly before I join them.
Okay.
Because I'm a zippy little fuck.
So you use celerity.
Yep.
And you find the bridge that he was talking about fairly easily. It's not like a hard thing to find. There is a small stream that runs underneath it. It's probably 10, maybe 15 feet across. Doesn't appear to be very deep. The sides of it are cultivated. So this is more of a showpiece, right? The bridge across the stream is probably a little over much for what that would need. But again, nice campus, showpiece, things like that. So it's got a nice painted railing. You see the symbol, the crest of University of Miami, periodically in not cement, but those little tiles that they do in circles along the length of the bridge. And as you're looking around, you look underneath. There is. It's fairly dark. It seems like it would be easy enough to be here without being noticed, unless somebody was specifically looking. You see. I'm not even gonna make you roll for this. You see an old sleeping bag tucked up underneath the connection on one side where the bridge meets the cement supports underneath. That sleeping bag appears to have been shredded. You smell it first. Blood.
Ew.
Fresh blood, actually.
Mm.
Like within the last 6 hours. And as you're
I'm
looking
still
around,
hungry.
you find it. Go ahead and make a wits plus composure, a perception for me. Okay. You, as you're turning away to leave to go back, you notice out of the corner of your eye a section of the concrete that looks to have been cracked. Almost like someone took a air hammer to it or something.
Almost took a what to it?
An air hammer, like a jackhammer.
Okay. I'm gonna head over there to investigate it.
Okay. It's about it's not even. It's about 3 foot by 2 foot on a side. Kind of a slab piece of concrete that doesn't quite fit anymore, but looks like maybe it did at one point in time.
I'm gonna lift it up.
Underneath, you see a book.
It's mine now. Yoink.
Interesting choice.
I steal all the things.
As you're looking at it, it looks almost to be the same shape, size, and configuration that the book that Paul Deane was carrying.
Curiouser and curiouser. Okay. I'm gonna tuck it into my jacket pocket and bound and check around again one last time and then head to meet them at King's Hall.
Oh, and the title of the book is not in English.
That's okay, I know people.
You head to King Hall. King Hall is a large cement structure, very bland, like most college dorms, because customization and color and things like that aren't conducive to the educational environment or whatever. So they don't do it. We fear change. It probably houses 2,000 or 3,000 people. It's got what looks to be 10 stories. It's the entryway is fairly well lit, but around it, you see the crud, the street lights, the ones that have the call boxes to campus security. There's one of those there, and then another one without that box off maybe 500 feet or something like that. And those are also out front, but set a little further away. Other than that, the area is not particularly well lit. You see some trees and some bushes along the building itself. but nothing really that would take any upkeep. You got to put a limit on finances somewhere. I guess this is where they decide to put it in. So yeah, when you get there, Charlotte and Victor and Sage are there.
Took you long enough.
Got a little sidetracked doing some investigating.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Let's see what you get.
I'm gonna pull out the book.
Oh,
Okay.
is anyone?
And I got to see some video footage of the room they were renting.
I mean, that's more than I got, so.
We're not
This
the
is not-
only fanged menace lurking about.
It is an issue with the masquerade.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, that at least answers that question, right?
Are there any clues about what kind of kindred it would be?
No. The pictures were just a blur because it was on the camera.
Well,
And
yeah,
you know how
that's
we
one of the
go on
reasons.
the camera.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons we're supposed to stay off of cameras.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Staying off of camera is definitely not finding a workaround for that. Anybody else in the room?
Are missing 2, plus evidently a 3rd who owned this book.
Okay.
The book cover is not in English. It looks to be not old, but used. Like they got it at a bookstore, like a used bookstore.
Sage, is this one of your proclivities? I don't know how to politely say that it seems like creepy shit you would be into.
I think we should take the book to the prince.
Without knowing what's in it?
Well,
What?
him and the sheriff are the only ones that are old as fuck that I know.
What I will say is that Sage would know what this is, at least
What
by
language
rumor.
does it look like?
Hebrew.
Okay. And what do I think this is?
You are reasonably certain that this is a copy of the Lesser Key of Solomon.
Okay. Yeah, that would definitely fall under their purview. Yeah, I tell them this is a piece of Jewish mysticism. It's about like demons. This sort of goetic tradition of demonic entities from Hebrew mysticism.
Does it describe the demons?
Oh yes, it does.
Yes, it does. And they're creepy as shit looking.
Oh.
Like, completely unacceptable.
Well, what I'm
If I
asking
still
is,
slept and dreamed, I'd have nightmares.
I guess what I
Yeah,
mean is, would they think that
I've seen
we're
the pictures of them. They ain't too pretty.
Well, sure, but
What's that?
like, are they? My question would be: do we think that they saw a kindred, and assumed it was the same thing, and were trying to research it on their own?
No, I'm pretty sure that the kindred kidnapped them.
Well, there had to be some kind of reason, or at least a catalyst.
I'm gonna look at Charlotte for a long moment, and then I'm gonna look at Sage, and then I'm gonna look back at Charlotte. Yeah, there's a reason for a vampire to lead off somebody to a private area.
I'm not an
Mhm.
idiot. But why these two? Where does this book
3.
fit? If you just want a blood bag, go out and get one. There's 50 waiting for me at home.
3.
3?
The homeless man that owned the book is missing, and I can only presume that he's dead because of the amount of blood. And his sleeping bag was shredded. Like,
Hmm.
wow. Like when I was first learning how to control my strength.
Fair enough. Anyone know how to get in here? She motions toward King's Hall. I mean, even once we're in there, we won't know where Paul's room is, but at least we can, well, 3 of us can inconspicuously be in here.
You saying I can't be inconspicuous?
I'm saying you're an old man.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
We'll
think
probably
that
have to talk our way past security. They usually have staff here in the dorms, so
does so since I'm pretty sure I know which room he's in, does my buddy boy have a window facing outside?
Yes, actually, all of them have windows facing outside.
All right, I'm gonna walk around to the side of the building. Come on, and look up to his room. Is the window open?
The window is not open.
I'm gonna climb up and see if I can open the window. It might not be locked.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break.
You mean? Why are you so mean to me?
I know it's terrible, isn't it?
All right.
Thanks so much for staying with us so far. We're going to take about a 10-minute break, 15-minute break, and we'll be back for some more shenanigans on the University of Miami campus and see if we can't figure out how screwed our players are. So stick around, and we'll see you back here in Vice City in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Vice City. Thanks for sticking with us. My name is Josh Wallace. I'm your game master, and we are back on the University of Miami campus doing a little B&E. So, Joanne, you are climbing the wall.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see how stealthy you can be. Why don't you give me a composure plus stealth?
An 8, a 0, and a 1.
Reroll the 0.
5.
So 2. Okay. You make your way up the side of the building. Claws leaving little imprints in the mortar of the bricks, and get up to his window. Reaching out, you tug on it, and it feels firm. Would you like to force it open?
I'm going to peek in the window first to see if there's anybody in there.
There does not appear to be anybody in there.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to pop it open.
Okay. With the types of windows that are normally on dorm room at college, you only have a little bit of a metal nub to bend back, and so as you tug, you manage to pry that open, and you now have access to his room.
Breaking and entering 101.
The three of you watch as she climbs the building and fiddles with the window a little bit. You all hear kind of a pop, and it looks to be open.
Probably a little too late to mention that the police haven't been here yet. Oh well.
Police don't know they're missing, so into the room I go.
You wander into the room. There are indeed 2 beds. One of them is not made very well. The other one is made almost military style. Nice and crisp and tucked in. There is both appear to be occupied. Both sides have stuff on it. As you're looking around, you find a small stack of books on one desk that appear to have come from the campus library. And they are consistently themed. They all 3 of them actually look to be histories and stories of the ancient Scottish about Druidism.
I'm going to pull out my phone and take a picture of each of the titles.
Okay.
And then I'm going to fan through them to see if there's anything stashed in the leaves.
You don't see anything stashed in the leaves. Next to the books, however, there is a pad of paper that was turned over. Are you going to flip it over right side up?
Yes.
Okay. You see several pages of notes, a lot of which are about the Scottish being wronged by the English, how um, their religion was persecuted, comparisons made to other religions and historical notes, almost like he's drawing himself a mental image. Um, and at the end of the notes, you see a not a great sketch, but a passable is, I guess, is a good word, sketch of Yggdrasil.
Okay. All the notes go into my pocket.
Okay.
I could really use a handy haversack.
All right.
I'm gonna rifle through his bed. I'm gonna the room that the desk is on the side of. I'm gonna climb up and check his bed and see if he's stashed anything under his pillow, in his pillow, down the crack of the wall.
You do not find anything. His side is the one that has the really really neat bed, military style. So it's very very obviously untouched. So as you're careful, you do some searching, but you don't find anything.
Okay. I'm gonna put everything back where I found it, except for the notes that I'm stealing. Is
Charlotte
there?
texts her, take a picture of the room while you're up there.
She takes a picture of the room.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna fix the latch, kind of bend it back in place.
You won't be able to relatch it, but you can at least close it and have it look not like somebody broke into it.
Yep. And then I'm gonna go out the window. Close it behind me and crawl back down.
Okay. You head back down, and I'm assuming 3 of you waited. So there you go.
More notes. Let's go.
What are the
That
notes?
yeah, well, yeah. What were the notes?
And just for my own purposes, the sketches of the Tree of Life thing.
Yes,
I didn't know how to pronounce that.
it's Yggdrasil.
I won't remember that, but thank you.
It's a hard one to remember.
It is. It is.
I've got so much else in my noggin. I can't hold that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna start heading my way back. I'm gonna check the time on my watch and then start heading back to Elysium, because the sheriff is probably still there. They can follow me or not.
Well,
I
I know Victor's following.
Did I see the book one more time? She's like walking with you as she's looking at it.
Yeah, I'll ease it out and share it with you.
Is it a library book or it's from a used bookstore?
No, it does not appear to be a library book. It does look like he got it from a used bookstore of some sort.
Gotcha. Is there a used bookstore on campus?
No.
Okay. I'm following with Kim while we're going.
Okay. Sage.
I was going to ask if Sage would recognize like the imprint of the bookstore that it was purchased at. It sounds like the kind of haunt that Sage would have for all of their
Charlotte hands the book
mystical
to Sage.
occults.
You're probably better suited for this than I am. She hands the book to him.
Give me just a second here. I should have known you were going to ask me that. Yeah. Excuse me. Yes, I have an answer. It's not pulled up. Hang on.
Sage, are you Jewish?
Oh, I'm entirely sure what my heritage is, but I don't practice really anything. I've just read a lot about mysticism.
Interesting.
Some kids get into pop divas, and some people get into, new age occultism. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was nasty. It's being nasty, and I'm sorry.
Some of us are much more adjusted as well. She kind of laughs after it. She is playing back at you. She's not being a jerk. She's like playing with you.
I mean, at least most of you are pretty well adjusted anyway.
Aw, do you really mean that?
Yeah.
I don't think he means that, probably.
I don't think he means that either.
And he looks over
Again,
Charlotte.
does seem
I mean, not to
well
you.
adjusted.
You didn't know what the real world was like. Give money.
Pardon?
Nothing.
The real world is money. I don't know if you've been in it recently.
I used to be.
I can tell.
So you do actually see an imprint on this. And having been to stores like this, you would know that it's not so much that this particular book is valuable, although that's why they do it, is for loss impression or loss prevention. It's more that they just make a habit of doing everything so that they don't miss anything. But it does not actually have the name of the store. This is one that you, however, will know. And the store is called Keenan's Rarities.
Okay.
It's got books, antiques, things like that. It's not a junk store because he doesn't take junk, but it's not one of those like resale pawn shops that gets rare stuff and then flips it for money either. This guy sells to collectors typically.
Okay.
At least the important stuff.
I've been to this shop a few times. They always have really interesting things. It's kind of late to try to go there now.
Well, we'll let the sheriff know then.
I mean, if
I
anybody will
could
know
go tomorrow.
it'd be him.
Yeah,
I-
but he's got people for that. Or you can go tomorrow. That's entirely up to you.
It would make more sense to send somebody who's been before, in case there's. I mean, it would seem a little suspicious. Somebody walks in, asks about a creepy old book that they sold.
Or maybe it's a question they're used to. Who knows?
This is true.
As long as I don't have to listen to Victor whine and cry anymore, I'm good.
Wow. Fuck you
Victor,
too.
you've been perfectly
No.
pleasant the past several minutes.
No, thank you. I have tastes and expectations, and you, my dear friend, fit neither of those criteria. Wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah.
And you ain't
Oh, my
fitting in
life has
mine.
been so hard. Oh, my life has been so terrible. Dude, you're a vampire now. You can do whatever you want as long as you obey the rules of the masquerade. But you could become the greatest inker ever simply because you now have time to practice your crafts. And instead, you're whining because, oh, I was, and you were, special. Little bit. You could slip into college classes and take them all. Get better at your craft and then do something with it. But instead, you're just pouting like a toddler denied a second dessert.
Look, I was just trying to, grasp at what little fucking humanity I had left, okay?
What
Charlotte,
does your humanity have to do with the fact that you now have the ability to do great and wondrous things, to craft fantastic images, and seduce the mind now with your powers, with your abilities, with your thoughts, and instead you're just, oh, woe is me, and you look like a bum.
I do
And you
not.
look like a bum.
You look
Charlotte,
almost exactly
Char-
like the homeless person that got killed recently. You need to clean up your image, especially since you're going to be hanging around with me.
My image is fine.
Yeah,
This jacket's done me well for years.
I can tell.
It really
No,
hasn't, though.
It hasn't. It really hasn't.
no, we're going to
But-
clean you up. You can get another reversible jacket that's nicer. Clean up your face, clean up your hair. You have money now. I will make sure of it, and we can do stuff.
It is going to be really uncomfortable because now you have to shave so much every day.
Do I have to do
Or
it
he
every
could
day?
let it grow out and, groom it to where it actually looks nice instead of looking like a shaggy puppy dog.
Oh, I don't think our facial hair grows anymore. I was clean shaven
No, it
when I
doesn't.
got turned, and I've never had facial hair.
So what you're saying is if I shave all this off, it ain't coming back.
No,
Yeah,
it'll
you're
come back
perfect.
tomorrow. So you have to shave every day if you want to be clean shaven.
Maybe you
Oh
should
yeah,
test
no,
the
no.
theory, make
We're-
sure.
We're gonna keep my face the way that it is. Do what you want
Definitely
with my
getting
hair.
rid of
Do
your
what you want
stinky
with my-
jacket.
Yeah, do what you want with my hair. Do what you want with my clothes. We're keeping my face the way that it is.
That was
think
kind of
it's
mean. I think you
fine.
should bite her. She winks at him.
And he just fucking glares at her.
Sage just links their arm through Victor's and just starts walking and making conversation about some of their favorite animators historically. They have pretty good understanding of and knowledge base for, classic animation stuff. And so they just start talking about sort of
And
art
as it's
shit.
happening, Victor's just kind of grumbling in between conversation and whatnot.
Where do we go now, everyone? Because
I'm headed for Elysium.
okay,
It's
Um,
only midnight, so we've got plenty of time before dawn. So I'm going to head to Elysium and turn over the information we've got to the prince, to the sheriff, avoiding the prince, I hope, because he's being princely, and then see if there's anything else he'd like us to take care of.
I mean, we haven't solved it.
But he didn't ask us
yeah,
to solve it. He
That's
asked us to gather
that's a good point.
information.
But
I
now we're
have
just handing
information.
him a bigger problem.
But
Right?
it'll be his problem. He told us to gather information. I'm gathering information. If he wants me to solve it, then he'll say, okay, you have gathered the information, now go solve it. But he simply asked for us to provide him with information. Besides, I need to ask him for a book anyway. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
What book?
Yeah, you know what? Living on technicalities. I like it.
Feels like
I
a
would like a
half-assed
chance
job.
to go through the book before we hand it over to anyone.
I think you're
That's
still
nice.
holding it.
No, Kimberly has
Yeah.
not let it out of her hand.
Oh,
Okay.
We could find the second copy of it.
well, I need to look through this copy. If he's anything like me, I wrote notes in all of my books.
You could look through it while we're walking.
Well, I mean, I'd like to study it. Why are you being resistant to
Yeah, what's this energy? This is weird.
looking into this?
Yeah,
You're
you're-
all about
you're-
breaking and entering, but actually investigating seems to
Because
be putting you on
I
edge.
because I don't want to overstep our bounds and get a little killed if we bring him the information and then he asks us to go investigate. That's one thing. However, overstepping my bounds, I don't want to see what happens to the guy that actually brought me to the prince because that was kind of icky.
See, I feel like just taking a peek in the book won't be too bad.
I
Yeah, how
did
else would we
say-
know that it's related?
I did
Exactly.
say you
How
were
will we
more
know
than
it's
welcome to
legit?
look at the book while we're walking. I see no reason for you to take it home to study it.
Okay, great. Charlotte holds her hand out for the book.
You're not the one who asked for it. And Kimberly hands the book to Sage.
Great
Okay,
teamwork.
well,
We're doing great.
while we're walking, I'm gonna stop at a coffee shop and sit down and read this for a few hours.
No, that was not our deal.
I'll sit with you.
And you
I'll
should
see
need a
what
few
I'll find.
hours. You're a vampire.
Just because I can do things fast doesn't mean that I can go through everything at lightning speed and retain it any more than anyone else can.
That sounds like a you
Anyway,
problem.
cool. As I recall, we were asked to investigate this.
We were asked to gather information and present it to the sheriff.
Gathering information, investigating, same thing.
We have gathered information to present to the sheriff.
Well, great. You
Well,
go do
gathered-
that. We'll
I
look at the
have.
book.
Maybe nothing. We don't know what this is. And so I just go into a coffee shop and sit down.
Charlotte
And-
goes in and buys herself a coffee and Sage a coffee.
Victor also follows suit. Just buying himself a coffee
No,
as
I'll
well.
get you a coffee too.
Nothing too crazy, just a single black coffee.
She gets you decaf.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Mm.
fair.
Sage just sort of pretends to take sips from the drink, but doesn't ever actually take a drink from it.
Tim, do you want a coffee?
Oh, thank you. I saw what happened to the last time one of us had a coffee.
Fair point.
I would like to. I would like to go through the book and see if I can find any particularly interesting stuff that's like occult related, because everything has. I mean, we've been looking at Celtic, Norse, and Jewish mysticism. I'm just baffled at like what connects three of these traditions. And so I'd like to go through the book
Invisible
and try
friends.
to like piece that together.
So you very quickly determine that there are no notes in this book.
Okay.
The Lesser Key of Solomon is exactly what you expected it to be. It is, while it's written completely in Hebrew, at least this copy is. It was a record of Solomon's dealings with the demons of the underworld, how he summoned them, the deals that he made with them, etc. As far as a connection between the other things that you're seeing, there isn't one that you can tell, at least not from looking in this book.
Okay. Yeah, I go through it, and then I'm also going through the Lesser Key of Solomon, just looking at diagrams and whatnot, and I close them and I say, I used to have a copy of this. It was a translation. I don't think it was the best translation, but I know I could find a better translation. I'm not sure if it'd be worth it. These, I think the information we have to present is that this kid is interested in, or that these two kids are interested in various mystical traditions. And then I push the book across the table toward Kimberly, and I say, "You can take those to the sheriff if you want. I don't think that's going to help much. But I could go tomorrow to see if there was to that bookstore to see if any connection between the two students there.
I think
If
that's a great idea.
perhaps they were both buying books from him. I just there's a puzzle here, and I can't tell what it's supposed to look like to start putting it together. I can't see the shape of it.
Do you know
I
anything
would.
about the other guy? The third one?
The third guy was a homeless dude, and he's the one that
Yeah.
had this book.
The Key of Solomon.
Yep. It
but
was very well hidden.
but what you do notice, and I'll interject here and remind, um, the the copy of the book that they were using on the video went with them when they went with the blur.
Yeah.
Okay, just making
So they
sure.
each had a copy.
Yeah. And I commented that I knew
Okay.
that I know that there's a second one available.
Could I use my omen sensitivity for this? Once per game session, I can make a wits plus occult roll. Depends in my surroundings. For every success, I can ask you a yes or no question about, in this instance, task at hand. Looking for
Yeah,
these
sure.
books. Okay. So wits plus occult is, I believe, okay, so that will be 7.
Good noises.
Nice. That's how many? 4?
Yep.
Okay. So, thinking to what one of you guys said about the unseen. I think I'm going to ask, are there spiritual entities involved in this?
Yes.
Um, were the student and the homeless guy, who both had the book, were they able to contact those spirits?
No.
Um, are we, specifically the 4 of us, connected to whoever abducted
No.
the student? Okay. And will we find answers investigating the bookshop?
That's not a question that I can answer. So the kinds of questions that you asked the first 3 times are different than that one.
Okay.
I can't determine ahead of time what you will or will not find, because it depends on how you investigate and who you talk to and what leads you follow. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like it just depends.
Okay.
So if
yeah,
you want to
that's
ask a different question, you can
answer
but
no, I think an unclear answer is a perfectly valid answer.
okay. It's up to you.
I ask a
The
yes or
question
no
said yes or
question,
no questions, and you didn't get a yes or
yeah,
no.
but
So I don't necessarily want to jip you the die roll, but
but I did get an honest answer from you, so that is fine. No, I feel good about that.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, I sort of have this laid out, and I do kind of a tarot spread on the table. And then I kind of pick up my cards. I push the book across to Kimberly, and I say, I that there are spirits that are tied up in all of this. I think that the interest in this book, and I tap the Liberty of Solomon, has less to do with vampires and more to do with spiritual entities. Do we know about, do any of you know about spirits? I mean, I know that we're vampires. That seems like there's magic, sort of, in the universe, but
I know that there's other species.
Yeah, I was informed of that too.
There's mages that play with spirits all the time.
Yeah,
They-
that's
Would another spirit cause that same thing to happen with the camera?
Typically not. They typically don't interact with from what I was told, they typically don't interact with the physical world as much, because if they do, bad things happen. I wasn't quite sure. He just said something about paradox.
But maybe it's a mage. Would a mage cause that camera glitch?
In front of someone not in the know? Mm,
I mean, not
yeah.
intentionally, but like if I walked in front of a camera, it would look funny.
Well, yeah, but you're a vampire.
that's what happens with us.
But I'm saying, is that what happens with
uh,
other types as well, or is that just vampires?
As far as I know, it's just vampires. Maybe occasionally a werewolf, but they'd have
Yeah.
to be going really, really fast. And um I don't see a couple of college kids getting up willingly and following a werewolf the way they would a vampire.
That's a fair point.
I mean, we've got example A right here, and I'm gonna point at Sage. Eye contact and somebody follows him to the bathroom. Eye contact, two people walk out of the room and they're never seen again, following a blur. Coincidence? No.
Doesn't seem like coincidence to me.
it wasn't me.
We don't think it was you, Say.
We never said
I
anything
know
about
it wasn't
being
you.
The lady does protest too much, methinks.
I
I
mean, I don't
doubt
even
it
know
was
if he
you.
was cute.
You would not find him aesthetically pleasing.
You don't know my type.
Is it possible?
Breathing is your type.
Well, if he's not breathing anymore, that would put a crimp in my interest. Okay, so you have to go to Elysium and take these
Yep.
these notes and this book.
That was kind of my plan.
All right. And so the notes didn't have any information beyond.
The notes had information about the books that he appeared to be reading.
Okay. So I take
I
out
will.
my phone
I will
and I
send.
put the titles in my notes, and then
Yeah, I send him the
uh,
pictures of the books that I took. The pictures of the books that I took that had the titles. And any
Okay.
place that the notes were sticking out of, like specific pages and page numbers.
okay. Yeah, I'd say I'm gonna have to look into these tomorrow. I'm infected. This is kind of fun.
And just
Yeah,
think how
no,
fun it'll be
it
when
is
we
kind of
solve
fun.
it.
And here you thought it was going to be a crappy job.
It is a crappy
Well, I
job.
still
I'm not getting
I'd still
paid.
like to get paid.
You are getting
Yeah,
paid.
getting
My
getting
God,
paid
you-
would probably be a good thing.
Anyways, I'm gonna head off to go visit the sheriff at Elysium.
Do you think the prince will be there?
Probably. He does princely things.
And I'll be
At
with
the
you.
Of course. I'm not going to see him
Yeah.
though. He'll be
I'm
holding court down in the main area. I'm going to the sheriff's office.
I will go with you to Elysium.
I will
Excellent.
also be going. I will also be going with you.
Only if you change clothes.
Yes.
You got something for me to change into?
I'm gonna
Charlotte
going
takes off
to-
her bright pink jacket.
I am going to lead him to Elysium and shove him into a room to change into a suit.
Are there 3 women having sex in there again?
Probably
No.
not. It's not party
Bummer.
time.
It could be different women.
No,
I
if
understand.
you want something like that, you need to head over to Bloodlust.
Got it.
Don't got it. Not gonna happen. Sure.
Sage is not going to Elysium. Sage is very hungry. Sage has spent several vitae this evening and needs to feed.
Sure,
So
when I get to
they will.
Elysium, I'm gonna get a goblet of blood and stock up and then head on up to the sheriff's.
Victor
Okay.
ends up coming back out of the room, in a nice black suit, black tie. No, it's not really a suit. It's more like a sports jacket. The black sports jacket with
Yep.
black tie and slacks and all that. Still wearing his Converse, however. That doesn't
This is
change.
much better.
Kimberly
know.
is going to reach out and simply remove the tie and then unbutton the top button. There. Now you may be seen with me. Let's go.
I thought the tie would have been better.
No, you look like a dork.
You look like a butler.
Pardon
Fine.
me, do you have any grape on?
Now you look nice.
Yeah, well, this ain't gonna last.
Yes, it will.
Yes, they will. You are immortal forever. Did you not get
Fine.
the handbook?
Do you need the handbook? I have a handbook. I can get you a spare one. Remind me and I'll bring
Get
it
into
tomorrow.
Elysium? We don't have cards.
Kimberly reaches into a pocket and pulls out a card. You've got one just like this one. We got given them last time we were here
Yeah, no, we were.
when they gave us the job.
That
Were
way
we
we
given
could get
cards
back
or were we
into
getting them after
Elysium.
the job was over?
No, you were given the cards.
Oh,
We
sweet.
were given a set of temporary cards to get in, and were informed that if we were successful in our task, we would get permanent cards to Elysium.
Awesome.
And as I go in, I pick up a goblet of blood, drain it, and continue on towards the sheriff's office and point Charlotte towards where the prince is holding court.
Yes.
What, Charlotte? Before you go, what are you wanting to see the prince for?
Oh, I want the prince to see me.
Why?
Publicity?
Yeah, okay.
The more the prince notices us, the better it is, in some cases, and the worse it is in others. Depends on how he notices. Her, showing up at court is interesting. Whether or not it'll be receptive due to politics, but I'm not getting
I don't
involved.
plan to go in the courtroom. Yet.
Then how would he see you?
I'll worry about that.
All right, have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, Kimberly, I'm just gonna stick by your side here.
Oh, who's a good boy? And Kimberly's gonna reach out and scratch him behind the ear. Good boy, good boy.
Fucking touch me like that.
It feels remarkably comforting.
He just won't
Unfortunate.
admit it. He won't admit it. You
That's fine. That wasn't a comment for anybody but you.
That's
The
the
thing
voice
is,
of
his
God.
face is betraying his words at that point. You can tell on his face that it's comforting, but vocally, he's just no.
All right.
I'm heading for the sheriff's room.
Let's really quick deal with Charlotte and Sage. I'll take care of the Vitae thing off camera, and then we'll roll into the sheriff's conversation. I think we'll be done then. So, Charlotte, what exactly did you have in mind?
I want to wait until there's a break in the court proceedings, probably when they go out to get more drink or anything like that, and find one of the people that I have a connection with, either the Invictus or the Crone that I've spoken to before.
Okay, you have more connections with the Invictus. Are you looking to talk to one of the Primogen? Is that where you're going with this, or is there something else?
Yes, I want to ask if I can be invited to sit in for the second half.
Okay. That with the Invictus, that's probably easy enough. You find her. She's somewhat surrounded by people, but it's very much, as you walk closer, the conversation that you hear is not. I'm trying to think of how to describe this. It's not formal in nature. It's very. It's almost like the kind of conversation that you'd have at the end of a workday when you go to the bar with your fellow employees and talk shop. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so you see the Primogen, Annette Rothford, and she's just sitting back talking with other Invictus. She looks up as you walk close and well, hello, Charlotte. Hadn't expected to see you here. Can I help you?
Hello, Madam President. I was passing through. I'm with Kimberly. Saw that court was in session. Wanted to show face a bit.
Court. And she kind of laughs. Don't sound so pretentious, darling. It's nothing near so serious as that. We're just talking shop, if you will. Sure, if you wish to join us, you're more than welcome.
She pulls up a chair.
And you listen to them talking shop. Most of the conversation that the Invictus have is centered around business moves that they're making among the mortal businesses. things that they're taking over, things that they're blocking, senators and representatives that they're manipulating. Not to put a point on it. Things like that, right? Power plays that they're making. Nothing said that overtly says we're doing this so that we gain more power. It's all we're doing this so that things are better for vampires in Miami. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
As you watch their faces in this discussion, you get the sense from your ability to read people that 90% of these moves are not just good for vampires; they're good for the Invictus too.
Yeah.
They very much we're doing this to better for everybody, but if we can't better for ourselves by it, then it's almost not worth doing.
Totally.
Periodically, the prince will make the rounds to different groups and speak with them. Mostly he listens. He has almost a look on his face of someone who's taking frantic mental notes.
Perfect.
And this lasts for several hours.
Yeah. Her main goal here is not to give any, she's not contributing to the conversation. I think her number one goal is to be seen in a place of power and to learn as much of the lingo as she can. Like, now she knows this is not generally called court other than by people that aren't in the court.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Well, Kimberly called it princely things.
She's also not calling it that. Very intentionally not calling it that.
All right, Kimberly and Victor, you head to the sheriff's office.
I will greet his person, and because I figure he's got somebody at the door.
Yes.
Do I know the guy?
Yeah.
Have I named him already?
No.
Hello, Michael. It's good to see you again.
Miss McKnight, always a pleasure.
Please, once more, call me Kimberly. Is he in? And does he have a few moments for me?
Of course, Miss McKnight. And he opens the door.
I head in and take Victor with me.
Yep, Victor's right behind her.
Victor notices the guy smirk as you walk by. As Victor walks by.
He kind of stops for a second, leans close to the guy. What's so funny?
You two kids look good together. And then he closes the door behind you.
Yeah.
He ate.
Ugh.
No. I'm going to smile up at the sheriff.
That left a bad... And Victor's just mumbling to himself, that left a bad taste in my mouth there. Ugh.
Well, hello, Kimberly. And Victor. What a surprise. How may I help you this evening?
We did what you wanted us to do. We got a bit of information for you.
Oh, really? Please. And he gestures towards the seats.
I'm going to walk up to his desk and I'm going to start laying everything out. First, the Book of Solomon, and then all of the notes, and then I will send his cell phone text of the pictures that I took. There were 3, not 2, and the video footage, I'm fairly sure a vampire is involved.
A vampire, you say?
The security guard was more than happy to share video footage of the room that they were meeting in.
He looks at you for a second, almost if you didn't know any better, you'd say he was trying to read your mind. And he finally smiles and he says, "You always wear the charmer."
I'm cute. It works.
He picks up the books or the book and looks at it for a moment. The lesser key, huh? I wonder what they were looking for.
This isn't the book that the 2 originally had, however. They had one that was actually in English. We're still investigating. We're going to continue it tomorrow, but I wanted to give you an update on our progress.
Excellent. And what of this third?
From what I was able to learn, he was homeless and lived under the bridge. That's where I found the book. It was hidden under broken concrete. A single piece. It looked like somebody had cut into it. The bedding that he was using was shredded, and the entire place was fairly bloody.
Ah. And he kind of sniffs, almost not quite disdain, but close. That must be why we didn't know he was missing. 3 kidnappings or worse on campus.
I'm fairly sure the homeless one is dead. That much blood missing from a single body, there's no way he survived.
Hey, Kimberly, didn't you also check cameras too?
I did. The 2 students, well, one's a student, and I believe the other slightly older student, they followed the blur out of the room obediently, as if compelled.
That would make sense, particularly if it were a vampire.
Sage is planning to investigate the bookstore that this was bought on the morrow. We will probably go with him. He said he believes that spirits are involved, so
Spirits.
That's what he was saying, yeah.
but then again, he is Sage. However, I need a book. My friend, uh, who is casting a spell as we speak to see if he can locate the female, and if she's still alive or dead, requested that I get a book from you. Perhaps I could make a copy.
Who did you speak with?
The Crow. Lorenzo.
Ah, yes. And he folds his arms behind his back and strolls over to a tall bookshelf.
Remember, you made me promise not to eat him.
Yes. Yes, I did. Reaching up, he pulls down a very slender, what looks to be very, very, very old book. Almost a journal. No, I don't think you can make a copy of this. However, it is his by right anyway. I merely held it until he was ready. And he walks over and he hands it to you. Across the top of the book on the cover, in very, very fine scroll work, is etched the word Montez.
She's going to bow her head and then carefully tuck it into the pocket of her jacket.
Tell him if he's interested, I would perhaps be available for an interview.
Dangling chocolate in front of him now, are we?
Let's just say he's an old family friend.
Of course. I will inform him of your offer. I do have a secondary request. I believe it would be possible here at Elysium. Could Vincent and I make use of one of the rooms to turn it into a studio to where he can sketch some images for a music video?
He begins pacing for a moment and
Well,
then
it's
turns to
already.
look at Victor.
He's a good boy. And she'll reach out and scratch him behind the ear again.
He doesn't fight it this time.
He looks back and forth between the two of you, and then there's a small smile that creeps into the corner of his mouth, and he says, "Very well. I'll have Michael show you to an appropriate room."
Thank you, sir.
Of course, my dear.
Thank you. Trust me. Thank you. I mean it.
I always wanted an older brother.
We look out for our friends.
Victor kind of just leans over and was saying just right to Kimberly, just I ain't that old, you know.
You're still older than me.
Yeah, well, just looks like I'm older than all three of yous.
I'm only 20.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I may do for you this evening?
No, I believe I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you. Will I see you at the house later or in the morning?
Of course.
I look forward to having breakfast with you then. Have a good rest of your day. And she's going to lead Victor right up.
He follows them out and leans into the guard and says something in his ear. The guard nods. If you'll come with me.
Thank you, Michael.
Right?
He leads you down to the main floor of the area, and down a side hallway that leads to several more. rooms that you didn't see while you were here the last time. He stops and opens one up and turns the light on inside. And as you walk inside, the wall flashes briefly, and you see a panoramic view of Miami Beach, looking out onto the ocean. You can see up close there's some trees that appear to be blowing in the wind. You can see the sun up. It's very much a picturesque view of why so many come to Miami. And he looks at the two of you and he says, "I presume this will do."
It's
Yeah, no, this
absolutely
is
perfect.
perfect.
Very well then. And he reaches into his pocket and he hands Victor a card key. This will let you into this room whenever you wish.
Thank you. And Victor takes it, pulls out his wallet, shoves it in there, puts his wallet back.
Is there anything else?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Yeah, no. No, we're good. We're good here. Thanks.
Then if you'll excuse me. And he turns and he walks away. And with that, I believe we'll end our session tonight. Hope everybody had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to be taking a break next week, as one of our cast is going to be at a convention. Hopefully not having
following me.
following is the next session.
Because he's a traitor.
We hope that he doesn't have more fun than he would have with us.
I would never.
But we will be back in 4 weeks, and we will find out what happens as we dig deeper into this mystery. Other than that, I don't think we have any announcements.
No.
No, I think we're good. So from our Citadel to yours, happy gaming.
Happy gaming.